Yo, hey guys, it's me, Anchor64, this time with another guide, and this one will be about Earthstrike actually. As you already can see, I'm in Syllabus right now. That's of course where we can actually get Earthstrike, but this video will be an overall comprehensive mega guide, you could say, about everything involved and revolving about Earthstrike. Things like the field duty quests, the best way to do them, some tips I want to give you, and in general what you need to do to actually get Earthstrike. It is, first of all, I want to mention that Earthstrike is not like your usual trinket or usual reputation reward. It is not only obtained by getting the accommodated reputation to Exalted. No, that's not true. You also need to do some busy work, I would call it, and you need to farm some materials along the way. And there are certain ways that make it a bit easier, and certain tips I can give you to actually get Earthstrike way easier. So that's pretty much the point of this video. However, this will also help you if you are farming other items that also need the Cenarion reputation. Maybe, for example, for mages, Rockfury bracers are of course best in slot item for them, but they need different items for that. And yeah, this video will also be helpful for you as well. So yeah, it's not only Earthstrike. It is pretty much focused on Earthstrike because of course I'm a warrior and that's a big ticket item you want in this phase. But still, you can still learn something if you are kinda confused or don't really know how you actually can get some of the reputation items. So that's pretty much it. The point also how I want to make is this video will be split in different parts. The first part will be pretty much, okay, why do we even want Earthstrike? Is it such a good item? What does it even do? And things like that. And then I will go more into how we can actually get Earthstrike, some of the requirements, the Cenarion circle reputation, the field duty quests, and so on. And at the end I will give you some tips and so on you can use to make it actually a bit easier to even attain Earthstrike. And maybe other reputation items. Depends on what you really want to do. So yeah, that's pretty much that. So let's go into the different parts. So yeah, let's get into the first part of the video. On here I want to talk about what even is Earthstrike. Why is it good? Why do we want it? Especially as like Fury Warriors. And of course other DPS classes also want this trinket. And yeah, is it even a good trinket? What does it even do? So I pulled up the Wowhead guide. I think it's a bit easier to explain when can actually look at the item. So what do we have here? So the trinket is called Earthstrike. It's an epic level trinket. It's an unused trinket, increases your melee and range attack by 280 and the effect lasts for 20 seconds. And it has a 2-minute cooldown. So basically what makes this trinket so good? First of all, the huge amount of attack power we gain. 280 attack power is a ton of attack power. It's actually like a very big amount. Trinkets in general are pretty rare. There are only like a couple in Classic. And even from that, there are only really a small amount which are really good. And this is definitely one of them. The other thing is, this effect lasts for 20 seconds. It's kind of short. And also, what is nice about this trinket as well is it has only a 2-minute cooldown. There are alternative trinkets which also have an on-use effect. In general, you always want to use like one on-use trinket and one trinket that has like a passive or something. Something like DFD or Hand of Justice. But you also can use two, of course. It's a bit dependent on other things. So as you already can see, this trinket is very strong. No, you know, as a warrior player, as a Fury Warrior, we also have a similar trinket, which is Diamond Flask, which we can get way easier. It's just a level 50 class quest. Other classes don't have access to this, only warriors. This trinket gives us 75 strength instead, and this one lasts 1 minute, so we get 75 strength for 1 minute. If you would translate that, that would be like 150 attack power. However, it's even a bit more because of things like the ward buff we get from ZG and also kings we can get on alliance. So yeah, still, however, it's way less than 280 and it has way longer cooldown. So Diamond Flash versus Earthstrike, basically how it boils down to is, if the fight is 20 to 30 seconds long, Earthstrike is better, and anything like above that, that's where Diamond Flash starts to shine. So in very, very short fights, Earthstrike it's a way better item. So yeah, that's pretty much how it is. Other than that, we will have problems because this trinket has a pretty long cooldown. 6 minutes, especially in classic content, is a pretty long time. So oftentimes what will happen is you will use this trinket on one boss, and then for the next boss you won't have it, so you need to use something else, like maybe Blackhand's Breath, something else. But if you have Earthstrike, we can instead use that. So we can use Earthstrike, then after the boss fight is over, we can then use Diamond Flash again for the next boss fight. So we always have like a one-use trinket we can use, so that's a very, very big advantage of getting Earthstrike. So now we would say, is there any alternative? I don't want to grind for Earthstrike, it's annoying, like whatever, I just want to get something similar from somewhere else. And yes, there is actually. We have Jomgabar. This trinket drops in AQ40, which pretty much has a similar effect to Earthstrike. It gives us 65 attack power. Also, this is in German, I don't know why. So I'm sorry, I didn't notice that. But yeah, this is, yeah, Jomgabar gives us 65 attack power and an additional 65 every 2 seconds. But you don't really need to worry about that. This is pretty much the same thing as Earthstrike. It also lasts 20 seconds and has a 2-minute cooldown. This trinket is technically our BIS. It is 1% better than Earthstrike, and also the same situation. In very short fights, this trinket is better than Diamond Flash. But the problem with this trinket is, first of all, it drops in AQ40, so that's the first thing. The other thing is, because this is one of the trinkets which is very, very highly contested by a lot of classes, and it also drops one of the last bosses in AQ40. So it drops from Uro actually, which is like the second to last boss. And yeah, that's the problem. Pucks nowadays are pretty good, so it's not really a thing that happens often where you need to actually call the raid, but some pucks and so on struggle on twins. So you might not even see Uro, so that's another thing. And also, like I said, it's a very, very highly contested item. So a lot of different classes will go for this item. But if you have Earthstrike, you have the advantage, you don't really need this item, you can go for something else. And like, use your SRs a bit more smartly, similar to DFT, but this is even a bigger example. Good. So that trinket would be the alternative to Earthstrike. Now let's see how we can actually get Earthstrike. I will just show you the quest. So this is the quest we need to do, Champions Battle Gear, which is pretty much available from the point phase 5 started. And yeah, or actually after the war effort ended, we can actually do this quest right now. And we need to turn in some different items. So we need 15 Cenarion combat badges, 20 Cenarion logistic badges, 20 Cenarion tactical badges, and 1 mark of Cenarius. And we also need to be exalted with the Cenarion circle. If we do all of that, then we can select 1 of 3 items, and one of them is of course Earthstrike. This item is pretty meh. I don't know who wants to use this. And we have the Wrath of Cenarius as well, a ring, which is a really, really nice spell power ring, but yeah. We don't really care about that right now. What we care about is Earthstrike. Also, the numbers are wrong. I think maybe these are SOD numbers. That's probably why. Whatever. So that's basically that. We need to complete this quest. We can find that in Silithus. There's like a Tauren blacksmith. His name is Wargurus, but I will also show you that in a bit. And yeah, that's pretty much where we can turn in the items. Now your question would be maybe, okay, what are the different badges? I don't know where to get them, as well as the Mark of Cenarius. All of this is pretty much involved into the field duty quests we can do. And for that I will make a separate, not really separate guide, but this will be a separate part in this video, pretty much the next one I want to talk about. Because these are kind of complicated and there's a lot of information about them. And yeah, that's pretty much what I want to talk about next. So yeah, that's pretty much that. Now you know what Earthstrike is, and let's get to the next part of the video. Okay, let's talk about Field Duty. So Field Duty is a quest you can pick up in Silithus. And that's pretty much the main thing we need to do to actually get the different badges. But I will explain how this quest will work. So first of all, let's talk to this NPC. His name is Windcaller Colden. You can find him in Silithus. He's just right down the path where you actually go down when you first arrive here. When you take the flag path, I mean. And he has like 2 quests, and we care about field duty. You can already see it's a repeatable quest, and we can get 3 different rewards from it, but I will talk about this later. Let me first talk about what's the quest we need to do actually. So let me accept this. Now what you will get is you will get unsigned field duty papers in your inventory, and this is an item which you can use, so press right click on it. What will happen is you will get the prepared field duty papers. This process has a cooldown of 3 minutes, and this is really very important for something we need to consider later. But now what do we need to do next? So when we did that, now I signed it, and now we need to walk to our base. So depending if we are Alliance or Horde, we need to walk to our base. If we are Alliance, we of course go to this base. If we are Horde, we go to this base. So next to the Hive Regal. The Alliance one is next to the Hive Zora. And that's pretty much it. That's also what you will see a lot of people do. They will just pretty much walk to their base and back and do that like, I don't know, 20, 40 times, whatever. And that's also what we will do in this video. So you have a plan. Another thing is, which I would highly recommend, is for you to get a movement speed set. I right now have 219% movement speed. I will go over more like in detail how you can actually get something like this, but it's pretty easy. Basically, you need to grab like different enchants and so on, and of course like use carrot on a stick, and you can get 219% movement speed. So now we are at the camp, and sometimes you are lucky, sometimes you are unlucky. It really depends what happens here. But basically, there's an NPC here that we kind of need to protect, and he will fight against this giant bug mob you can see right now that I'm fighting. You will see all other people are also helping. Sometimes they aren't helping and standing AFK like this guy. But yeah, basically what needs to happen is that there's one NPC that needs to survive because he's needed to actually turn in the quest. And which NPC is that? It's this guy. So Captain, what is his name? Black Anvil for Alliance. I don't know what the name is for the Horde one. But yeah, it's the same thing. He has like a laser sword or whatever you want to call it. And he needs to survive. Sometimes, like, the NPC is not here. And there's just another Dwarven NPC. Then you actually need to start the event. Or the NPC has recently died. So there are different outcomes what can happen. And sometimes you get lucky. And you can just turn the quest in immediately because this event is already done. Sometimes you need to wait, and sometimes you can be very, very unlucky and the NPC is dead. But yeah, you can see it takes like a long time because no one's pretty much helping. Besides like this guy. Yeah, I would try to not solo this guy like I'm doing right now because you can easily die. Yeah, and you live actually. So that's one thing you need to be careful about. This NPC also, if he dies, that is very bad because you need to wait for a bit to start the event again. So that is like the worst outcome. Okay, why can't I bench myself? Okay. Yeah, I need to bench myself. I almost died. But yeah, you can see this guy is doing nothing. This guy is doing nothing. This guy is at least doing something. Maybe they're waiting on the cooldown, but I don't know. But you can also do if you want to be a bit bad, let's say. Or I think it's kind of justified. Is you can also taunt the mob and pull them into the different AFKs. Because as you can see, he will like cast a corrosion pool. And that will pretty much damage the AFKs. I think that's pretty reasonable to do that, to be honest. So yeah, he's almost dead. And yeah, come on, die. Okay, now he's dead. You will see all of the NPCs will walk back again. He survived, luckily, and now we can turn in the quest. So what we can, we turn in the prepared field duty papers, so don't forget to right click them. And it will turn into signed field duty papers. Now I will do something which I will show you, which is a double turn-in. I will also talk about this later, but what we can do is actually, if you are fast enough, so we can grab another field duty, like another quest, and then we can go back here very quickly, and then we can do this all again. Like we can get 2 turn-ins in one event. But I was kinda a bit slow, because I wanted to show you what you needed to do on the quest. Let's see if I can still make it. That's also why you actually need kind of a movement speed set for this. It's way more convenient and you will have more time. But yeah, now I need to go back to the NPC to Windcaller Colden and turn it in. And then I can select one of the different quests, one of the different dossiers. Let's see. For me personally, I need logistics right now, so that's what I will pick. And now I will take this quest again. And I get another unsigned field duty papers. I will sign this one immediately since it's off cooldown. And I will go back. Sometimes if you are too fast, you actually need to wait. I will show you that in a bit when I walk back again. But then yeah, you actually need to wait. So there's like kind of a different strategy, going on where you can kind of min-max this process where you need to wait the least amount of time and you can pretty much chain them over and over and over. But one thing you also need to be careful about is that people sometimes are camping the spot, especially like rogues, and try to delay people to actually get this quest done. But let's see if anyone's doing this. Let's see if I'm fast enough to actually do this. I was kind of slow to be honest, but yeah, the NPC is still here. And he's gone, and I missed it. So that's what's happened. I was too slow. And now what you need to do is you actually need to start the event again. So you talk to this NPC. This guy already did it. You need to select 2 things, and then the event is starting again. But yeah, I don't want to wait here again, so I will just go back. So that's pretty much that. Depending on how lucky you are sometimes, especially if you do like your first turn in, like you can get different outcomes of the NPC. Sometimes the NPC is fighting the mob already, so because some people already started the event, that is pretty much the best outcome you can get. Like if the mob has like maybe 20% or 10% HP left, and you go there, and yeah, you kill it, and you kinda like waste 3 minutes of time, because that's where the cooldown comes from. That's the best case, so then you can easily do a double turn in. But if the NPC like freshly kills the mob and you can immediately turn in the quest, then you will have a still pretty long cooldown timer, and by the time you will get back again and your cooldown will be off again, you can't actually turn in the quest for a double turn in. So yeah, let me show you what I mean. So let me destroy this one. Let me get this quest again. And you will see I still have a cooldown on this. You can also see it on the item. It says fill out the recruit's field duty information. 3 minutes cooldown. So yeah, there's a kind of strategy that you can use to complete this. But I will go over this more in detail when I talk about some tips and so on you can use. Good, so this was field duty, kind of pretty simple quest. Just run to your camp and run back. That's pretty much it, and select one of the different assignments. The assignment is probably the next thing I want to talk about, but yeah, that's pretty much for this part. Okay, let's go get to the next part actually. So this part will be about the different assignments, and this will also be probably the longest part of this video, because it has a lot of different stuff I need to talk about. And yeah, I kind of want to make everything clear and kind of want to talk about everything, so I don't really want to miss anything. Basically, I talked about the field duty quests already. If you complete field duty, you will have the ability to pick one of the different assignments. Either a combat assignment, logistic assignment, or tactical assignment. Maybe you already asked yourself, okay, what's that about? Basically, inside these assignments, you can only pick one, of course, are quests. And these quests are random. We can get random quests. They will all have a different number. Let's say we get maybe 1 if we do it once, and then we do another run of field duty and we get maybe 3 or something. So yeah, they will pretty much all be different quests. So let's say we do logistic assignment, like we pick that one and we open it, and inside we will find another envelope which pretty much says, okay, logistic task briefing, and then a number. This one has 10, and this one pretty much is the following quest. It's bandages for the field. But of course you can also get another number, and then you can get maybe this one, uniform supplies, or maybe this one, Ironforge Guard needs explosive. If you do these quests long enough, you will pretty much remember what every quest is, what some of the good ones are and what some of the bad ones are, but we will also get into that when I talk about some of my tips and so on later in the video. You can also skip to that part if you already know about everything from here. But yeah, that's pretty much that. So do field duty, pick one of the assignments you want to do, and then look which quests you get, and then you can see, okay, do I want to do this quest, do I not want to do it? You can also like just accept the quest, see what you need to do, and then pretty much also like abandon the quest if you don't really like it. So yeah, that's also another thing you can do. However, these quests are a bit different also as well. One thing that is very important why we even want to do them is, of course, we want to get the badges. So each quest we complete gives us one badge. So let's say I have bandages for the field, I talked about this. You can see we will get one Cenarion logistic badge. And you can also see this is a requirement, of course, for the different pretty much items you want to get from this reputation, from the Cenarion circle. For example, we have this quest, Champion's Battle Gear, which we can pick up from this NPC back here, from Walrus. And he can pretty much give us Earthstrike, however we need to turn in some different items as well, some badges and the Mark of Cenarius, as well as being exalted. That's the thing that is kind of annoying about this quest. It's not only, okay, you just need to reach a certain reputation level, you also need to do some busy work. And that's pretty much the busy work, I mean. So yeah, we get these different badges by completing the different assignments we get. Actually, the different quests we get from the assignments, if you want to be like a bit more detailed. But that's pretty much how it works. So let's say we do for on field duty, we pick one of the quests, and now we want to see how it actually works. So I will get into that. So I will explain each different one. So first of all, let's look at the combat assignments. So combat assignments, basically they are a bit different than the other ones. If you pick that, you won't actually get combat assignment. You will get something like Hive Zora assignment, combat assignment, or Hive Ashi combat assignment, or Hive Regal combat assignment. There are only 3 different ones you can actually get. Yeah, it's pretty much how it works. Another thing is, which is kind of also pretty important about this, is inside these ones, so let's say for example I get the Hive Ashi one, are 4 different quests. And the 4 different quests, what they say, maybe you already thought about it, because it says combat. We need to kill different elites in that hive. That's how it works. So each different quest is for one elite mob. For Hive Ashi, for example, there's like one for defenders you need to kill a certain amount, and you need to kill a certain amount of tunnelers. That would be another quest. Each of these quests, if you complete it, let's say we kill 20 defenders and we turn that in, we will get 1 combat badge. So actually, with each different combat assignment, we can actually get up to 4 combat badges. So that's one thing you need to remember. However, of course, you can already see they can be pretty annoying. And like I said previously, 20-30 elites you need to kill, especially if you need to compete with other people, can be annoying. Some things that makes this easier, you can pretty much group for this quest as well. So especially if you have a healer, then it can be way easier to get it. And pick ones, like pick one of the hives that doesn't have a lot of annoying mobs, because the elite mobs, they vary a bit. For example, here in the Hive Ashi one, the defenders, for example, are pretty notorious. They are like very anti-melee. They have like cripple, disarm, things like that, so they can be very annoying to solo. And they also have like stealth mobs on here as well, which is another mob you need to kill. But for example, Hive Zora is like easier. The mobs are here are easier to actually kill. Yeah, Hive Regal, same story, but I'm not too knowledgeable about that because it's pretty far away. Hive actually, for example, has the benefit it's like right next to Cenarion Circle. Yeah, that's pretty much that. It's pretty simple. You pick one of the hives you want to do, or pretty much whatever you actually can get. It's also another thing. You can also like just try to farm try to get one of the hives, and also stack multiple quests. But yeah, more of the in detail tips and so on you can do. I will get into the next parts. This part will already be very, very long, so I just want to get the basics out. So that's pretty much combat. You just need to kill elites. Let's talk about the next one. So the next one is logistics. Logistics is, I would say, more like easier to do actually, because all you need to do is, if you get one quest, you just look at the items you need to collect, and then you turn them in. For example, like I said this already, I have Logistic Task Briefing X, and this one gives me the following quest: bandages for the field, and I need to get some bandages and turn it into that NPC right there. And that's it. And then I will get one Cenarion logistic badge. I will also get one follow-up logistic assignment. What these do is they are a bit special. They are a bit different than the logistic assignment. You can get the normal logistic quests again. So let's say I do this one and I complete it and I get this one. I can open it and maybe there's another logistic task briefing X again. But what can also happen, there can be special ones in these as well that you can only get from this follow-up one. So there's one, for example, which is the logistic task briefing, I think it's 11, so XE. And that one is also called the Ultimate Deception. That one is a bit special because you don't get a Cenarion logistic badge and you don't get a follow-up logistic assignment, but what you will get from that quest is actually a mark. You will get the mark of Romulus, which is not needed for Earthstrike. However, it is needed for the revered gear. So right here I have the quest for the revered items, and you can see I actually need a mark of Romulus for this one. So let's say you are a mage or caster and you want to get Rockfury bracers. Then you actually need to do that instead. You need to get the logistic quests, farm them, and also try to hunt whenever you get a follow-up logistic one for the right one. So that's also very important. But yeah, that's pretty much the thing about that. If you have any other questions, of course, as well, feel free to ask them in the comments, as always. But yeah, that's pretty much that. So we talked about the logistics one as well. It's kind of complicated. It's kind of annoying how they did it. There are a lot of different quests and you can't really see what each of them do. But yeah, if you do some of them, you will get the point pretty easily. Okay, so I talked about the logistics ones. Now let's talk about the tactical ones. So tactical is a bit actually the one that is the most varied. Because it includes like combat things, but it can also include other stuff as well. And basically it is pretty random what you can get from there. If you get, I think it's 1 through 4. So tactical briefing 1 through 4. In these ones you need to kill one specific mob, elite mob you can summon in the different cultist camps. So maybe you already know about the different cultist camps, but basically I actually can even walk there, because why not? I think it's a bit easier, and on the way I can explain it. Basically in these cultist camps you will have of course the different cultist NPCs which can drop the Twilight text, or they can also drop the different items you can collect. So for example, you can get the different Twilight sets. You can see them right here. And if you have all 3 of them, so the shoulders, the robe, and the cowl, like the head, you can actually summon, right here it's on CD, you can actually summon an elite mob. And if you kill that one, these ones are pretty much required for some of the tactical quests 1 through 4. But they are all different. They are like 4 different ones. You can see right here they are on cooldown right now. But here you can see one is dead. Hoary Templar. But they have a pretty short cooldown. It's like 2 to 3 minutes. And there will be like a windstone there. You can pretty much equip the set. And then you can summon one of them. Yeah, that's pretty much how it works. Oh, you can see it. Okay, this one respawned pretty much. So yeah, if I would have the set right now, I could equip it and then summon one of the mob, and then that's it. And then I would get lucky maybe and have get the right one and complete one tactical one. But yeah, my recommendation would be is actually to try to collect multiple ones of these. So for each like different one, if you get very lucky, there are 4 different ones that can spawn. If you get very lucky, you get all 4 quests. Then it's pretty much always guaranteed you will get 1 tactical badge if you summon 1 mob. But if you don't, at least get 2. So it's not like you summon 1 mob and it's not the same thing you need, and then you do it over and over and you just get unlucky over and over. So yeah. Other thing that can happen is you can get other quests as well from the tacticals ones, which are pretty much the scout reports. So there are 3 different scout reports, which pretty much also, I said pretty much so many times, which also entail going into one of the hives and actually finding a stealthed NPC where you can talk to them and they will give you a scout report, and that's pretty much the whole quest. Then you can go back and collect your free tactical badge. So yeah, there's one for Hive Ashi, there's one for Hive Zora, and there's one for Hive Regal. And these NPC are pretty much inside the caves. They're stealthed and always kind of in these big rooms where a lot of the bugs are. So maybe you can do that when a lot of people are online and all are farming the bugs. Then it's very easy because everything is dead. Then you can just go there and get your scout report. Or maybe you are a class that can stealth, like a rogue or feral druid. Yeah, then it's also very easy to do this. But yeah, in my opinion, the tactical ones where you can actually summon the tier 1 mobs are faster because you can just buy the sets of the auction house and then summon them over and over and over. So yeah, but it depends what you need to do. Good, so these were all also free. And one also very important thing is, maybe you would have asked yourself as well, is I talked about the Mark of Romulus, but for Earthstrike we need a different mark. We need the Mark of Cenarius. The thing is, if you complete tactical quests, you will also get the follow-up quest as well from that one. And these also include one special one, which is the 4 Dukes quest, which is number 5. If you get that one, and if you complete it, you will pretty much get the Mark of Cenarius. But no logistic badge or nothing else. It's pretty much the quest for that mark. You need to do a lot of tacticals and like do the follow-up one, open the follow-up ones. And if you get 5, keep that one because you need to complete it later to actually do the 4 Dukes quest. Yeah, I can get into the 4 Dukes quest also as well. Basically, it's the same thing as what I talked about earlier, where you need to summon the different tier 1 mobs. But this time you actually need to summon the higher ones, the tier 2 ones, the Dukes. And that one is a quest which you should 100% do in a group, because these mobs are, of course, hitting way harder. You can't really solo them. And yeah, you might even need a healer for that. And you need to be kind of lucky, because in that one quest, you need to find all of them. So you need to kill all of the 4 different ones. Again, you can buy the stuff from the auction house to try to summon them. But yeah, this quest can really depend if you get really unlucky or lucky. Maybe you get all 4 in just 4 summons, or maybe it takes a longer time. When I did the quest, we pretty much got the first 3 very, very quickly, but the last one, the huge giant boulder one, took a longer time to actually summon and get. But yeah, it's all RNG, so you need to be kind of lucky to do that. Yeah, if you complete that quest, I think it's called, yeah, it's called the 4 Dukes. If you do that, you will get this Mark of Cenarius. And that's pretty much also required for Earthstrike. So yeah, now I talked about that. So pretty much we can cross this out. We have Cenarion Combat Badge, Cenarion Logistic Badges, Cenarion Tactical Badges, and Mark of Cenarius. So that's all of the items we need to get Earthstrike. Next thing would be to actually get the Reputation, which I can talk about in the next part. I will talk about the next part pretty much. So yeah, that's it from this. If you have any more questions about this, feel free to comment. This part's pretty much the most complicated one. I will try to edit some stuff as well when I talk about it to make it a bit more clear. But yeah, like I said, it's a bit more complicated and complex than the other parts, because it's not only you need to be exalted, you also need to collect these items. Good. So that's pretty much that. We need to go to the next part. Okay, so now we are here in the next part of the video. Now we are going to talk about the Cenarion Circle. So one other requirement, of course, is getting Cenarion Circle to Exalted. You can already see I'm not Exalted, I'm Revered right now. There are different things we can do in the game, which can give us Reputation for the Cenarion Circle. And I will try to mention like all of them, maybe I will miss some, but I will mention the most important ones. So that's pretty much that. Basically, if you are just starting, a lot of different things will give you Reputation. For example, if you go to the Twilight Camps and kill the different NPCs there, different mobs there, like the Twilight Cultists, they will all give you like 1 or 2 or 3 rep. That's a thing before Phase 5 came out, a lot of people did. They pretty much killed them, and then they summoned the bosses, and yeah, they killed them. Because summoning the bosses from the Windstones also gives you Reputation, as well as killing them. I think the small ones give you 6 Reputation, and summoning them also gives you a small amount. However, that pretty much gets removed, like all of the Reputation gains, if you reach a certain Reputation level. I think it's Honored or Revered, where it actually stops giving you Reputation from that. Another thing is, of course, we can also complete quests here, which also give us Reputation. So, however, I would try, like right now it's a bit more difficult, so right now it doesn't really matter that much. But before, it was like the best way to do it was to grind till Honored, just from summoning and killing the Twilight Cultist, and then doing all of the quests in Cenarion Circle. Now we have, however, more ways to do it. So again, quests also can give you Reputation. This includes, of course, Field Duty, which gives me like 27-28 Reputation per turn, and completing the different assignments as well, the quests you can get from here, which will give you, I think, 50 rep, or 55 if you play in Superior Human, of course. So yeah, yeah, if you're a human, all of this is of course way easier. Another thing is you can do is, of course, you can do AQ20. So I talked about this in another video, but AQ20 is roughly like 2k rep, or a bit more, really depends on how much trash and so on you kill. And yeah, definitely try to do AQ20 each reset to get that amount of rep. Because, yeah, it's pretty much the best ways you can get rep, unless you have a lot of gold, of course. So that's that. So I talked about different things as well. Now we have also another thing. Let's say you have a lot of gold and just want to use that for this Reputation. What you can do is you can buy these Twilight texts, pretty much. They are on the auction house, you can buy them, and if you have 10 of them, you can turn them in by this NPC here, and you will get 100 rep for each one. As a human, of course, you will get 110. But yeah, I already said, of course, humans are superior. So yeah, but they pretty much jumped in price if you collected them way earlier or bought them like a bunch before Phase 5 came out. That was pretty much a smart idea to do, but then you can pretty much turn them in. Yeah, 100 rep is not a lot, so that's also kind of annoying. So that's that. So we have quests you can do in Cenarion Circle, things you can summon as well. AQ20 gives you some, and as well AQ40 can also give you some Reputation. That's another thing. So if you do AQ40, you will also get a small amount of Reputation. I think it's like 800 something. But yeah, definitely do the raids. It will all help to actually stack some reputation to get to that magical exalted. Another thing is, in AQ40, you will have things you can pick up. Let me see if I can find it. Ah, it's not right here, I think. Oh no, it's here. Yeah, perfect. You can pick these up, Kiraji, Lord Insignia, and you can turn them in AQ40 by an NPC. They will give you a lot of, I think it's 500 Brood of Nostromo rep, but we don't really care about that right now. We care about Cenarion Circle, and you will also get some Cenarion Circle reputation. I think it's 100 if I'm correct. But yeah, definitely try to do that as well. Maybe you are in class that doesn't really care about Brood of Nostromo rep that much. Let's say you don't really need to get that much reputation, because these are pretty much best used if you are like, I think, honored or revered with the Brood of Nostromo, and then you want to use them. But let's say you don't really need that because you get your best in slot items. For example, for DPS warriors, we only want the shoulders and the legs from the tokens in AQ40, so we don't really need all of the rep. But if you are rogue, you pretty much want the full set, and then you actually want to get to a higher reputation level. But yeah, like I said, it's pretty much different for everyone, but if you turn them in, you will also get some Cenarion Circle reputation. That's pretty much all of the ways you can actually do in the game to get some Cenarion Circle rep. And yeah, my recommendation always, like, do all of the raids on reset. Try to always loot the bosses in AQ40 for the Kiraji Lord Insignias, so you can turn them in from some additional reputation. And as well, one really big thing is, do your assignments, like logistic assignments and such, and field duties before you are exalted. Because like I said, previously they all give you reputation, and if you do it before that, let's say you have a lot of gold and you buy a bunch of Twilight tags to get to exalted, but then you also still need to do all of the logistic stuff and all of the assignments, you pretty much wasted a lot of gold, because you could have like saved some amount of gold and actually did the assignments and just get to exalted from these alone, like the last bit. But yeah, that's pretty much that. So a lot of different things give you reputation for the Cenarion Circle. It is kind of annoying to get, but yeah, you will pretty much get it. Just do like your normal assignments ones, just do your AQ20 and 40s, and you will get to exalted pretty easily. And if you still want to get it done faster, you can still buy the Twilight text to even speed that up a bit. Good. So that's pretty much that about the reputation. It is pretty simple, to be honest. But yeah, let's get to the next part of the video. Yo, so let's get to the kind of last part, unless you want to include the outro, which I will try to give you some tips and tricks, which should help you to actually speed up the process and make things a lot less annoying for you, so you can actually farm this a bit easier. So first of all, what you should do is actually you should do some prep work even before you are starting all of this. What I mean by that is trying to look at some of the items, trying to look at the auctioners and things like that. So let me explain that a bit more carefully. So first of all, what we want to do is we want to, of course, clear out our inventory, so we will have a lot of space for everything. As you can see, the different assignments all take one space, and then if you combine it with field duty, and then you also combine it with quests you can accept from the assignments, you can see that your inventory will fill up very, very fast, very, very easily. So that's one thing you definitely want to remember. Try to do it in a way where you can actually like have the opportunity to have a lot of backspace left. Some of the things you can do is you can just send all of your consumes, all of the stuff you don't really use anyway right now, to your alt. For example, I have a lot of consumes right here on me right now. I could send everything to my alts. In Classic Anniversary, maybe you didn't know that, but they actually changed it where mail between alts is instant, so you can easily use that for your advantage. Another thing is also, you should also clear out your quest log. Especially at the start, again, you will have a lot of quests. Combat quests especially will take 4 quests each. For like one hive has 4 quests. And then if you combine it with tacticals as well, for example a scout report, if you want to do that as well, at the same time you will have 5. And yeah, it can add up very, very quickly, and then you will have a full quest log. So definitely try to consider this as well. So that's some of the prep work you can do. Another thing is, the logistic quests, they of course are pretty gold dependent. So let's say you have a lot of gold and don't really care, you just to spend it. You can pick up anything and any logistic and just do it, whatever. You can just buy the stuff from the auction house. But if you want to do it more intelligently, I would say, and actually think about it, you can look at the prices in the auction house for some of the items you need for the different logistics ones. And then you can see, okay, like, I don't know, logistics 10 is very cheap, or maybe logistics 6 is cheap or whatever. And then you can try to look at that as well. Let's say I have, for example, logistics 10, for example, is a bandage one, which is pretty cheap. But I will get into like good quests and so on in a bit. But yeah, this is very, very server dependent. I'm on Spine Shatter EU right now, so my prices might be a bit different. But yeah, this one's I think the cheapest one. But we also have this one, which is kind of cheap. And yeah, it really changes. Especially now, since some people already got Earthstrike. It just will get, like, the prices will come down for these turn-ins. But yeah, try to do that as well. Try to do some research for the logistics quest, so you know which quests you can keep and which quests you can remove. Which will get me into my next point, actually. So my next point is being, what are some of the good quests you should keep and some of the quests you should pretty much throw away. So first of all, again, like I also talked about it, logistics. Right now, I even have some in my inventory. If you get 10, definitely try to keep that one. That one is very, very easy to complete. You just need to do bandages. And another really huge benefit is the NPCs right here where you can turn it in. Some of the quests, logistics quests, actually want you to travel a bit. For example, for one, we need to go here to turn that into an NPC. But what you can do is you can mail all of your gold to an alt, and your alt just buys all of the, which is pretty much located in Stormont. Your alt buys all of the cloth, and then you send it per mail, and you craft it, and then you can just turn it in over and over and over and over. Like, depends on how many bandage quests you have. And that is a very, very fast and easy way to, and cheap way to complete logistics. So definitely do that. Another tip is, which is more of a general thing, and I think also pretty understandable, to be honest, is don't do all of the stuff. Like, don't buy all of the reputation and such, even if you have like tons of gold, before you have completed all of your badges and so on. Why is that the case? Because every single quest, every single field duty, every single badge quest will give you reputation. For example, the quest you can complete, like not field duty, but the badge quest you can complete, all give you 50 rep. And you can, like, think about it, if you complete a ton of them, you need like a lot. It will add up a lot. And if you're already exalted, you pretty much missed on a lot of reputation you could have gotten way easier. Another thing is, which is also, like, field duty also gives you some reputation. It gives, I think, gives me like 27, 28 reputation. But since you do it a ton of times, you'll get actually a lot of reputation. 2 turn-ins, and you're already like 1 badge quest, like the same reputation you would get from 1 badge quest. So definitely do that. Getting the reputation is kind of annoying. You will probably be done with all of your badge quests before you are exalted, I would think. Unless you have a lot of gold and spent it on a lot of Twilight texts. But yeah, that's the thing. Good. Now let's talk about some of the quests you should keep. I talked about it a bit, about logistics, but let's talk about the other stuff as well. So for combat, it is a pretty, like my recommendation is to actually do the Hive Zora ones. You only have 3 choices anyway, so it's Hive Zora, Hive Ashi or Hive Regal. For us, like melee DPS and such, it is way better to do Hive Zora because we don't have a lot of annoying mobs there. And like most people also want to do Hive Zora as well. Okay, this one's doing Ashi. Yeah, but you will see most people doing actually Zora. So you can do that. As well as the Alliance camp is also pretty close. So if you maybe want to do field duty on the way as well, you can do that. I don't know about Hive Regal, to be honest. It's a bit further away. Hive Ashi is really good if you like maybe have a really good group or can complete it pretty quickly because it's right next to the Cenarion circle. So that would be like the fastest one. So definitely depends on what you want to do. However, this one also has stealth mobs and these can actually take a very long time to find and kill. So yeah, it really depends on what you want to do. But that would be only one quest. Another thing which goes into that as well, but let me first talk about the tactical quests. For the tactical ones, the ones I would keep is 1 through 4. These are the ones for summoning the different tier 1 mobs. You can pretty much solo them. You can just buy the sets off the auction house, Twilight set. And it's only like 3 gold or something for the whole set. Maybe the prices change, but whatever. They are pretty cheap. Then you can summon them. And what you can do is like you can go here. There's like a lesser windstone. Summon the boss. If you got one of the bosses that you also have a quest for, nice, completed. And then get another one. Then you can go into here as well, do the same thing. Then you can go down here, do the same thing. And you can pretty much repeat this process over and over and over. But yeah, that's pretty fast way to do it. Especially if you have no one else. These quests, again, like I said, they give you 50 rep. And if you can do them pretty fast as well, and if you get all of the things, like if you stack multiple tactical quests, you can even use that to farm some reputation. Because 2 quests are like the equivalent of turning in 10 Twilight text papers. So that's also a thing you can do, which is kind of a tip, which can give you some better Cenarion circle reputation gains. Good. We have that. So what else do we have? Yeah. So that would be the good quest. Another good quest you can get from tacticals are the scout reports, which are pretty easy to complete. You just need to go into one of the hives, depending on which scout report you got. I think that's like 5 to 8. It's probably the scout reports. I will show that on the screen, so yeah, don't worry. But yeah, just from my memory, but I'm not too sure. But you just need to go into one of the hives, find the stealth NPC, talk to them, and then you can get the scout report, and then you can go back to Cenarion Circle, turn that in. They're pretty easy to do, especially if you can stealth, or if a lot of people are fighting the bugs and everything's empty. Good. So that's that. The ones I wouldn't recommend are the other 2 ones. I think there are like 2 more you can get. So one of them is where you actually need to kill a patrol. First of all, I think there are also elites, and they are like not always available, which is pretty annoying. Another thing is I think you need to kill some prophets, but I would also skip that one as well. So these 2 are not, I think, worth it because you still get only 1 badge, and yeah, it doesn't really matter anyway. Good, so that's all of that. For like talking about the good quests and such. The next one, what we can talk about is actually some Cenarion Circle reputation gains. So definitely try to do AQ20 every reset. In AQ40 you can also get some reputation as well. I talked about it. Definitely try to do your assignment quests before you are exalted. That's very important. Don't do it after. That's like definitely a thing. Another thing is you can also turn in 10 Twilight Papers for some reputation. However, these are very, very expensive. And it might not be actually worth the gold. Instead, maybe I would recommend just farming the tactical badges, tactical quests, over and over for some reputation. Unless you're very lazy or maybe have a lot of gold and don't really care, you can just do that instead as well. So that's that. Let's see what else I have in my notes. Yeah, of course. I forgot to talk about it. But you definitely want to have one mounted movement speed set as well. Right now I have this. So basically what you want is just use some items you don't really use and put some enchants on them. So for the hands I have minor mount speed increase, which you can get from an enchanter. For the boots I have mithril spurs. You need to ask some blacksmith to apply this for you. And of course the trinket is the carrot on a stick. All of this adds to 290% movement speed. And it's actually a huge increase and will help you massively for the field duty turn-ins. Because like I said again, you can do a double turn-in where you accept the quest, sign the papers, go to the camp, talk to the NPC, and then you go back and then turn in the quest, get another one, sign the papers again, go back again, and then turn it in, and then you will have a double turn-in. So you can do 2 turn-ins per event, which is, yeah, way easier if you actually have more speed, of course. So definitely try to do that. It's, I think, also useful for a lot of different cases. I use this a lot when I did like some of my AV rankings, especially because I had a 60% mount for the longest time. So yeah, that's definitely another thing you can do for that. Good. I think that were some of the tips I could give you to speed this up a bit. Let's see if I have anything else. I definitely should do some prep work before you start this. Maybe if you want to get multiple items, you can also do that as well. So don't throw some of the follow-up ones away. I already talked about, for example, the Mark of Cenarius one. You definitely don't want to throw Quest 5 away from the tactical ones, because that one is needed for Earthstrike. You only need it once, but still. And other than that, it's pretty self-explanatory. I think I talked about everything else in the other parts already. But yeah, these are some of the tips I can give you. Again, if you have any other questions as well, feel free to ask them in the comments. If you like these kinds of videos, feel free to like and subscribe as well. This kind of took a long time, especially editing everything and so on. So yeah, definitely, but Earthstrike is a pretty important item, and this whole quest thing is like pretty vast what you need to do. So I think it's pretty appropriate to do that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So again, if you have anything else to say, feel free to comment and so on, like and subscribe and the usual stuff, but whatever. And I will see you on the next one. Have a great night. Goodbye.